Hey you, how's it going? My name is Ruby Price and welcome to 2020. It's a new decade. Are these going to be the roaring 20s or so I've heard? I guess we'll find out. There's still another 10 years to go. Some of you may remember at the start of 2019 I made a video about my goals for 2019. So I thought what I would do to start off this decade is set out my goals for 2020, by which I just mean the year, and also reflect a little bit on how the goals for 2019 went. If I passed them, if I failed them, if they just sort of roll on to this year. I guess we'll find out. Obviously, before I get started with my list, if you want to leave your goals for 2020 in the comments below, that would be amazing so that we can, urge each other on, give each other some support. Please, I really need support. But anyway, let's start with my 2019 goals, with reference to this video. To find a job in the radio industry. So, that didn't happen. As much as I really tried, it didn't happen. I went back to university to try and make it more likely that that will happen, and I guess we'll see how that goes. But it didn't happen in 2019. To get out of my overdraft. Oh boy. I didn't get out my overdraft. I went further in. Yep. Please hire me as a freelancer. Actually release a song that isn't a joke. This one I'm not so bothered about because the more 2019 went on, the less musically inclined my life became. Obviously I was focusing on talking about music as a music journalist, but I felt it would sort of counteract what I was doing if I released music that wasn't as good as I was asking other music to be. I am a musical person, I play a lot of music, but at the same time I'm not writing anything. Go to Summer in the City. You wouldn't believe how close I came to attending Social in the City this year, because it's been rebranded to Summer in the City and Winter in the City, but Social in the City being its overall thing now. I applied to volunteer at the inaugural Winter City and I was accepted, but I just couldn't really afford to do it because I was volunteering and money and stuff, and as much as I would have really liked to be there, and I did get the opportunity to volunteer, I couldn't then go and volunteer. So if anyone from Sitsi is watching this, please just let me help out next year. Just crossing off a few more of my 30 before 30 bucket list. Here's one I actually did. I ticked off 3 more things from my 30 before 30, and I have to make 2 more videos if I'm going to carry on that series, because I haven't actually updated that series yet. But I did tick off 3. I did tick off 3 this year. Start a podcast. If you've seen anything about my social media recently, this one I did as well. Which also ties into the last goal, but fresh from the scene. Every Friday, apart from this Friday, the one that's upcoming whilst filming, because my studio's closed, so I can't record anything. But fresh from the scene, music podcast, roughly about 40 minutes each episode, and I really love it. I think it's some of the best audio-based work that I've been doing. You can follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, whatever. Tune in, whatever, there's a link in the description. Go and check it out. So those are my goals for 2019. The ones I didn't take off are probably going to roll on to this year, but let's move on to my actual goals for 2020. So the main goal for 2020 is to resume facial hair removal. It's been 4 years since my last appointment, which were my 8 NHS provided appointments because money. So I'm really not looking forward to the next 5 years of watching the NHS lose even more money, but I guess that's just the sort of world we elected to be in. When I finished my 8th hair removal session, I was like, okay, cool, so I have to start paying now. I'm a student, I barely have a job. I'm gonna work on this and come back to it later. I've just not really had the disposable income to then, commit to electrolysis, which is, the facial hair removal that I would have then moved on to, because the laser hair removal got rid of all my dark hair. But more recently I've noticed that my facial hair is growing back quicker, and that's probably the main thing that just gives me dysphoria these days. Having had surgery and just sort of developed confidence. Shaving my face every 2 days just sort of reminds me, you know, what I've had to go through to be at this sort of stage, and that's the thing that just, if I could get rid of that one thing, I'd be so much happier. 2020, I'd quite like to graduate my masters. Certainly looking a lot more likely now that I've done 2 assignments and got 66 and 67% on the 2 of them. Because, you know, I hadn't done academic work for over a year. I was really, really nervous that, you know, I was just going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. But, you know, graduate my masters this year, that'd be really awesome. I should probably come up with a research topic. Something I'd quite like to do in 2020 is go veggie or vegan, because save the animals and the environment, I guess. I'm currently trying Veganuary, and it's going rather well, in the sense I've bought groceries and I haven't starved yet, and I've sort of been surrounded by people who, you know, are already vegan, so they know what they're doing, and I'm just talking, I'll just listen to you. Just listen to you. But obviously, you know, there's still another month to go, so I'd better start cooking. Also, oat milk is amazing. Yeah. In 2020, I'd quite like to get a job or go full-time as a freelancer. In 2019, I obviously started Rubes Media, and I've worked with quite a couple of bands now to make some really cool shit. I'm still making some cool shit with some bands, and I've got some other cool shit on the way, but, you know, currently I'm doing it more as just a little bit of extra money, whereas I would very much like to have it as my thing that actually provides me income, rather than just a couple of extra quid every now and then. And obviously that's down to me. I need to be more proactive in actually getting clients, but at the same time, I do have university work to be doing right now, so that's clearly something that's, you know, a bit further down the line, especially with the job part, because it's not really something you can do whilst writing a many thousand-word dissertation. Oh, there's so many exclamation marks after this one. Move out. In the 2nd and 3rd year of my undergrad, I obviously moved out of my mum's house and into a student house with some friends, and my plan was never to come back. But unfortunately, I just couldn't find any sort of arrangement where I would be able to stay out of my mum's house and, you know, had to move back in. But since then, I've really been trying to just, you know, gather finances. That hasn't worked. To eventually, you know, just move out and into my own place, or, you know, share with some friends, or even just, you know, other housemates. Man. There's just something about having your own space again that just really, really, I need to have that. I need to have that. Yeah, the biggest issue that I'm having right now is that I don't get enough from my loan to actually, you know, live somewhere else. That's another reason why I would like some more freelance shit, please. See, they all tie in together. This is one that's just sort of a mixture of, you know, being fun and challenging, and also just to say that I've done it. But, you know, as you can probably see from here, if that's even in focus, I'm a big Harry Potter fan, J.K. Rowling's political beliefs aside. And one of the biggest challenges that can entail is a 20-hour marathon. And I want to do it. Or maybe split it up into, you know, 4 movies and then 4 movies the day after. Just because people are human. But yeah, that'd just be one of those things that I just really want to fucking do. And if I can do that this year at some point, oh, that'd be one hell of an achievement. It's also on my 30 for 30 bucket list, so I'd be ticking 2 birds with 1 stone, making 2 ones with 1 call. And finally, just one that sort of ties over from 2019's goals, is to reach 25 episodes of Fresh from the Scene. You know, I've made it to 8 so far. I have so many other people that I want to talk to, and some people who I've agreed with in principle to talk to and stuff like that. So now all I have to do is talk to them and reach 25 episodes, because, you know, I've paid money to have my podcast online. I want to make sure it's worth it, and people seem to be enjoying it, you know. Yeah. Also, it's just felt really nice to be making audio content again. You know, that thing that I've wanted to do as a career for, you know, like the last 5 years. So that's a wrap of my 2019 goals, and also a list of my 2020 goals. As I said at the start of this video, let me know what your goals for 2020 are in the comments below. If you made any goals for 2019, let me know how they went. yeah. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up because that will help me out with the algorithms apparently. You can always share it on social media as well because algorithms. And if you haven't already, please subscribe because that would be amazing and I love you very much. Or you can even support me on Patreon. I hope you have an awesome 2020. Stick around for some more content eventually. Don't know when, don't know where, but it will be here. But yeah, as always, I have been Ruby Price and I shall see you next time. Adios. Bye.